Well, welcome back everyone. Today, I'm going to take a ride with my friend Karl all the way from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Fort Erie along the beautiful Niagara River Parkway. We're going to stop at a few places to show you some of the highlights, like Sir Isaac Brock behind me here, and take you along in one of the most enjoyable drives you can have in the Niagara region on a motorcycle. So stick with me. This ought to be fun. After I picked Karl up, we traveled through Niagara Falls, heading northbound to Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, the Niagara Parkway is really divided into three distinct sections. There's the North Parkway from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Niagara Falls. Then there is what's called Central Parks, which is sort of the hub of the Niagara Parks Commission itself. And then there's the South Boulevard, which takes you from Niagara Falls all the way to Fort Erie. So to start the ride, we head down 4 Mile Creek Road here through Virgil, on our way down to Lakeshore Road, which basically follows the south side of Lake Ontario. So we ride down until we get to that. It takes us right into Niagara-on-the-Lake, which you see here, and we make a left on Old Stone Road, I believe it is. And what this does is it takes us eastward, and we head down through town here until we reach Queen's Parade, which is the main street in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And from here, we are going to make a right turn. And this basically takes us down the main street of Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is absolutely beautiful. If you have a chance to get down here, it is an absolutely pretty little town with lots of things to do. You could park your bike now and probably spend the better part of a day just going through shops and checking out all the little things that are here. Or you could even hit the Shaw Festival if you wanted to. Now, from here you could go straight through this intersection that would take you to the Parkway, but we're going to actually make a left here on King Street. So we're going to continue to head east on here, because this will take us right down to the river itself, give us the maximum value for our ride today. And you can see all the old Victorian homes and the large canopies of trees. Niagara-on-the-Lake's an old town. And right there, that's the mouth of the Niagara River and Lake Ontario. We're going to head to the right here, and we are going to follow this past Navy Hall. You have to remember, a lot of Niagara-on-the-Lake was based on fortifications during the War of 1812. So right across the river is the United States, and to our right here is Fort George, which is on the river itself and was built to defend against American invasions. Once we're past Fort George, we actually reach the Niagara Parkway, and we're going to make a left here and start heading south. Now, the Niagara Parkway is maintained by the Niagara Parks Commission, which is a self-funded agency of the Ontario government, so it makes all of its money off of tourist dollars. It's very interesting. So all the grass that you see, the roads, all that is supplied through tourist revenue. Now, along the path here, you're going to see that there are little, what's called parkettes, where you can pull in. Most of them have picnic tables, and a lot of them are free to park in. It's also home to our recreation trail here in Niagara Falls. It takes you from Niagara-on-the-Lake all the way to Fort Erie. You can see it right there. And you can ride your bicycle or hike the whole distance if you wanted. Now, as we continue heading south here, outside of this parkette, we're going to see just how nice and scenic the parkway is. And not too far past this is our first historic site on the Parks Commission's property. This is the McFarland House here. And the Parks Commission itself maintains a variety of historic elements along the parkway, and they're all interesting to stop in and see. And there are free washrooms here if you needed to use them. So if you're coming from Toronto or London or someone like that, this is an easy spot to just deke in and use. And on the way out, you're also going to see this fruit stand. Now, all along the North Boulevard, There are vineyards and fruit stands. It's really easy to grab a snack, and you sometimes have to remember to pull over and see some of these absolutely amazing vistas and panoramic views that are maintained along the parkway here. So you can have yourself a peach and sit down and enjoy it. Now further to the south, we come to the scenic town of Queenston. Now you can follow the parkway, or you can do like I do here and make a left around near the cenotaph, and it takes you into the old town itself. Now you can see that how beautifully treed this little village is, so please watch your speed through here. This is a nice, quaint little community. They don't need speeding bikes running through. And you can see all of the old homes and houses along here, which are just amazing to look at. They really are pretty. There's even a gentleman here that maintains old Range Rovers for a hobby. It's kind of a neat thing. Sometimes you can stop in if he's there and chit-chat a little bit. This is also the location of the Laura Seacourt homestead, and also the Mackenzie Printery, which houses the oldest printing press in Canada. And the architecture of this building is really neat, sort of elevated above this road here. It's Front Street, I think we're on right now. And this takes you all the way around to the parkway. We're going to make ourselves a left-hand turn here. Now this takes us up the escarpment almost 200 feet. And it's a really, really beautiful part of the ride here. Now, about halfway up the escarpment, you're going to see a pull-off on your left-hand side. And I strongly encourage that you stop in here. I truly believe this is one of the nicest views within the Niagara region, as it overlooks the Niagara River itself. And it's absolutely worth getting off your bike and taking a little bit of a stretch. Now, once we leave the lookout, we head up the hill, and we're going to stop in Queenston Heights Park. Now, Queenston Heights Park is an absolutely beautiful place to bring your family if you can for a picnic, but there's a lot of things to do here in the park itself, and there are free washrooms here again. So it's a nice place to stop, stretch your legs, and use the facility. So this is a monument to Laura Seacourt. Her house is down in Queenston, and she's a heroine of the Canadian government. She played an important role during the War of 1812. And you can see that the beautiful landscapes that surround things like Brock's Monument here, which is really fun. There's lots of information plaques around this park that talk about the importance of each one of them. And of course, there's also the Landscape of Nations, which was developed in conjunction with the Indigenous people of Canada and helps educate visitors to the role that was played by everyone within the War of 1812. This is also the southern terminus for the Bruce Trail. So it's a 750 kilometer trail that starts in Tobermory or in Niagara-on-the-Lake and traverses the escarpment all the way along there. I've known a few people that have actually done that. Now as you leave Queenston Heights, you're going to come through the traffic circle. You're going to want to skip the first one and take the next exit. And I'm going to take you into one of my favorite spots along here, which is Locust Grove. And this is a beautifully little secluded picnic area. It's free to park in here. And on certain weekends, you can even catch a concert from Art Park across in the United States as it echoes across the river. It's something the locals know about, but don't talk too much about. Everywhere along the route, there are little special spots like Locust Grove here, where you can pull in, park your bike, and have a little picnic lunch. You can see here, there's even picnic tables all around. So there's garbage cans provided, all that kind of great stuff. Pack it in, pack it out. You know the routine. As we leave Locust Grove, we're going to go underneath the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, and not far past that to the south is probably one of the signature pieces along the parkway here, and that is the floral clock. Now, the floral clock is owned in conjunction with Ontario Hydro 1, I believe, and it is a 40-foot diameter clock that is planted with plant material every year. And see in the back that cloud? That's actually the falls. That's where we're heading. Now, This is an absolutely beautiful site. It has great ornamental horticulture, and the face of this clock is planted with over 20,000 individual plants every year and clipped by hand to make these ornate designs. Now as we leave the floral clock, we go past Sir Adam Beck, which is a hydro generating station. The Niagara region has a deep history with hydropower, and it's evident throughout its lands. Now as we pass the botanical gardens, you're going to see that cloud again. There is the falls. We're heading there, but we're going to stop here at the Niagara Glen to get some captivating pictures of the Class 6 rapids down in the gorge itself. You can actually spend a few hours and hike all the way down to the river edge here if you wanted to do that. It's another great thing to do in the Niagara region. I encourage you to make a day trip out of it. It's about 200 feet down, so watch your step. Now we're going to leave and we're going to again head south. There's that mist again, we're heading towards it. And we're going to follow ourselves around the Niagara Whirlpool. So the Niagara River actually takes almost a 90-degree turn here, and you're going to see, watch for that mist up on the left-hand side. See how we're turning towards it? Now that's still several kilometers away, and you can see that mist plume for a long way if you know what you're looking for. Now we're going to come all the way around, and we are going to stop at our last scenic lookout on the north part of the parkway, here at the Aero Car. So this cable car actually runs across the whirlpool, but even without getting on the car itself, you can get some spectacular views of the plunge whirlpool pit here on its own. And here's that Aero Car itself that traverses across it. It's a great attraction if you ever have the opportunity to ride it. Now as we leave the Aero Car, we head south and we come to Central Parks. This is where the falls itself is located. We're going to go under the Rainbow Bridge, and the first thing we are going to see is beautiful Oaks Garden Theater here on the right hand side. Now this is a true Canadian garden, and it's full of topiaries and clipped plant material. It's worth stopping and having a look at. Now if we were to make a right here on Clifton Hill, it would take us to the other part of Niagara, which is wax museums and fun houses, and it's a great time to spend an evening. But we're going to stick to the park here and ride along the parkway. We're on motorcycles after all. So the beauty of Central Parks is you actually ride through this ornamental parkland, and you get glimpses of the falls. That's the American Falls on the left-hand side there, and it's accented with all this beautiful maintained parkland with beautiful plant material planted all over the place. The Skylon Tower that you see poking out over there is a small version of the CN Tower in Toronto. But everybody, and I mean everybody that comes to Niagara wants to see one thing, and that is the falls itself. So see that mist? That's what we were chasing all the way from Niagara-on-the-Lake. And this is a little bit of a glimpse of the beautiful Horseshoe Falls, or the Canadian Falls as it's sometimes called, which is the largest of the 3 waterfalls located here. Now it's pretty hard to stop and get out and get some footage of this for you, so I'm going to leave it up to you to come down and see it. Now as we leave Central Parks, we're going to pass Kingsbridge Park, where there again are free washrooms. And this pretty much wraps up our Central Parks tour. As we leave Kingsbridge, we come up to Tim Hortons here, and we're going to make a left heading south, and then another left here at Main Street. And I just want to let you know this is a bad intersection here, so be careful if you do come for this ride. We're going to follow Main Street east here, heading towards the river again, where we're going to pick up the South Boulevard. Now in my opinion, the South Boulevard is really the nicest part of the ride for a motorcycle. Although the north has a lot of vineyards and wineries and fruit stands and a lot of places to stop, and Central Parks has the falls itself, what the South Boulevard has is these great vistas of the river and miles of sweeping turns. Now the speed limit's only 60 kilometers an hour, but there is still so much to look at, and if you time your trip really well here, you can do this towards the evening when the temperature cools down and the cool breezes off the river and off Lake Erie really make the ride absolutely enjoyable. There are amazing houses to look at along the South Boulevard as it's become developed over the last 25 to 30 years. Some of these homes are absolutely enormous. And there's lots of little parkettes similar to the north where you can pull over and take a break from your ride and just soak in the atmosphere that is the Niagara River. Now the staff that look after this are amazing. They keep the grass cut nice and tidy. There's not as much horticulture, but it's really more of a natural area along the south. And as you get into Fort Erie here, you pass the Buffalo skyline as we continue to head south along the 25 kilometers it is roughly from Central Park. Now, at the very terminus on the south end of the parkway is Old Fort Erie itself. So this is a great place, a great educational place to stop. The visitor center was completely rebuilt in 2012 and has some great displays and a museum and a nice snack bar in there too if you've become a little bit nibbly. And once again, there are free washrooms to use here, which anybody that rides a single cylinder thumper like I do can appreciate it. So this is a great little park up here. You can bring your family if you wanted. If you don't have to do this trip on a bike, you can take some of the time to picnic and just enjoy the overall wide landscape. And they do have great reenactments in here as well over the season. Now here you can see the beautiful Buffalo skyline as we look across the river. It's almost the lake now. And we're going to finish our tour enjoying ourselves down near the lake itself on the shores of Lake Erie. Karl and I had a great time here. Overall, the parkway's about 57 kilometers in length one way, so you're going to do about 120, 130 kilometers, or about 85 miles, I suppose, if you do it as a round trip. I highly recommend you come down and take this for a tour. It's always rated as one of the top tours in Canada, and it is just a great, spectacular way to spend a nice day. So until next time, I'm Dino. You enjoy yourself, and I'll see you again soon on Dino's Tinker Shed.